Hey guys, welcome back. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. My name is Lorrien, and in today's video I thought I would share a couple recipes with you that I've really been enjoying lately. One is a kale and Brussels sprout salad that I absolutely love. It's kind of known to be a fall kind of salad, but honestly, I mean, there's no law on what time of the year you can eat what kind of salad. So I'm going to be sharing that salad with you today because I was really craving it the other day, and I was like, you know what? Let me share it with you too. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I originally found it on Pinterest, but then I tweaked it a little and added my own whatever to it. So it is a little bit different. So if you guys are like, I've seen that on Pinterest, but not really, that's why. And then I'm going to be sharing with you guys one of my favorite Middle Eastern dishes. It's a meatball and potato curry over rice dish. It's super popular. I'm pretty sure we eat it once a week. If you go to Middle Eastern restaurants, specifically Chaldean restaurants, it's always on the menu. So I'm going to be showing you guys how I make it and my twist on it. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, my mom makes it different, or I've had that before and it was a little different. Everyone makes it differently, but this is mainly how I make mine. So I hope you guys are hungry and ready to check out these recipes. So if you are, first be sure you are subscribed to my channel. If you aren't already, turn your post notifications on so you don't miss out on any future videos from me, and let's get right into it. So here is a quick overview of everything I'm going to be using in the salad, and then everything I'm going to be using in the dressing. Starting out with this organic chopped kale that I get from Aldi, and then a bag of Brussels sprouts, some goat cheese. You can use feta, but I really wanted to try goat cheese this time. Some dried cranberries, some sunflower kernels, these are unsalted, a Honeycrisp apple, you can use whichever apple you like. For the dressing, some balsamic vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, Dijon mustard, a lemon, salt and pepper. Now I'm going to start by washing these Brussels sprouts. The bag says that they're washed, but they're not really washed. I don't feel like, at least in my opinion. So I am going to wash them myself. I'm going to soak them in some cold water with some distilled vinegar. Look at my babies. They're so cute napping. So while the Brussels sprouts soak, I'm going to start with my kale. Now this is chopped and ready to go, but sometimes the stems are a little too thick for me. So I'm just going to pick out the big chunky stems. And then I'm going to start by chopping up my apple. Like I said, I'm using a Honeycrisp apple. That's just because that's my favorite. But I feel like Granny Smith would be really good in this salad as well. And no particular way. I just like them diced up small. So you can slice and dice however you want. Adding those to the salad. Now for the goat cheese. Now goat cheese is an acquired taste. I was a little hesitant at first, but I really just wanted to go for it and go with goat cheese. I've made this salad in the past and used feta, and it was really good with feta, but I wanted to switch it up this time. Now, right now I only used the half, but I ended up using the whole thing just because I was like, I'm never probably going to use this goat cheese again. I might as well add it to the salad. So I ended up just putting the whole thing in there eventually. Now I'm just adding in the unsalted sunflower seeds. You can add however much you want. I added a little bit more just because I wasn't adding meat to this salad, so that's kind of like a replacement. Now I'm just adding in some dried cranberries that I already had open. Now for the Brussels sprouts, I'm going to trim the end and take off the first two leaves because that's what I read a really long time ago on Pinterest, and that's just how I still do it. So slicing them up and just dicing them however I can, making sure I'm not cutting my nail in there, and that's just a closer view of how it looks once it's sliced up. Now adding that to the salad. I did end up adding more. I just kept adding as I felt needed. Here's what it looks like so far. Now for the dressing. This part was tricky. I was trying to do equal parts, but honestly, I feel like this all depends on your own taste buds. So also, this measuring cup from IKEA, I just want to say, is weird. I don't feel like the measurements were accurate because that looked like a half a cup of olive oil, but for whatever reason, it wasn't coming up to the half point. So anyways, trying to do equal parts of extra virgin olive oil and the balsamic vinegar. Then adding in a squirt of the Dijon mustard, salt and pepper. And then honestly, like I said, you just got to keep stirring this up and tasting it to see what you feel like you need more of. Now I'm squeezing in a whole lemon. If you don't like your food tangy or tart, then I would say maybe half a lemon, but I love the tanginess of the lemon, so I added in a whole. And by the way, I love this lemon squeezer thing that I got from Aldi like a long time ago. Now this is when I stirred it up and realized it needed more vinegar because all I could taste was the olive oil. So there I am adding in a little dash of more balsamic vinegar and salt. It definitely needed more salt. And that's the pink Himalayan salt that I was using, by the way. Now I'm just going to pour this over the entire salad. And yes, it made the salad kind of ugly. The balsamic vinegar did, and it turned the apples brown. But honestly, I mean, other than the looks, it was really, really good. So there I am giving it a quick toss to get everything evenly coated in that dressing. And here is what it ended up looking like. Give it a good 360. Now here is when I added in the rest of the Brussels sprouts. As you can kind of tell, it gave it a little bit more of texture, I guess you can say. Now for my potato and meatball curry, I'm starting with this organic ground beef. Now, heads up, I hate touching raw meat, so it's going to look like I'm grossed out because yes, I am. I hate touching raw meat for the life of me. I'd rather not, but it is what it is. You got to cook. Starting with the mild curry. Now, usually I would add like a full tablespoon, maybe even more, but because of my kids, I just added a little dash. So I guess you could say like half a tablespoon. And then I'm also doing the same amount for the 7 spice. And then going in with some salt and pepper, the same salt, the pink Himalayan, I love it. Now some onion powder and then garlic powder, organic ground turmeric, just a little dash. Now here I am putting on the gloves because you can't pay me to touch raw meat like that, especially if it gets under my nails, I will pass out. But anyways, I'm just mixing this all in, making sure the meat is coated evenly with all those spices. And then once that's done, I'm going to start making my meatballs. And I would say maybe like an inch in diameter. It all kind of depends on how big you like them. We like them smaller, and that's how I just grew up making them and eating them. So like I said, about an inch in diameter. Now, what I do is I just get like a cookie baking sheet, some parchment paper on there, start rolling them up and placing them on there. It just makes it easier when you go to cook them. Also, these freeze really well. I remember as a kid, my mom would make a huge batch and freeze and just take them out and, cook them as you need them. So put them in a good freezer bag and you're good to go. Here is what they look like once they're completed. I just ended up cooking all of these because I knew my family would eat them all. So adding in some olive oil to my pan. Let's turn the light on. There we go. So about that much olive oil. And then medium-low heat to start with. And I'm just going to add these all to that pot with the olive oil and just let them saute. Now, you don't want to cook them all the way through. You just want to saute them, and basically you're just browning them. Now, while those are sauteing, I'm going to go ahead and peel and dice my potatoes. I don't know what it is about peeling potatoes that's just so satisfying to me, especially when you get like a little ugly corner and you just keep on peeling. Anyways, I'm just using 2 potatoes this time because I didn't want to use too many since we had the meatballs going. Now dicing them up, and I guess you can say like an inch, same like the meatballs. You don't want them too big because it'll take forever to cook, and then you don't want them too small because then they'll just dissolve in the liquid and it'll be like potato soup pretty much, and it'll just be kind of mush. So adding those to a bowl while I dice up my onion. I'm just using a half an onion because that's what I had already in the fridge, but if you want a whole onion, go for it. I'm not really big on onions. I hate them, but you need them for flavor. So I just used that half, dicing that up really small, adding that to the potatoes. Next, I'm taking some fresh garlic, about 3 cloves maybe. Like I said, depends on your taste buds. If you like garlic, add more. If you don't like it, add less, but you need some for the flavor. So chopping off the ugly ends and then just dicing this up really small and then just adding it to that bowl with the potatoes and onions. Chop, chop, chop. Add, add, add. Here's what everything looks like. And then here's what the meatballs look like after they've been browning. So they're not cooked all the way through, but that's okay. That's what you want. So I'm going to take them out, set them to the side. And I'm actually going to be leaving that liquid and oil that's in the pot and just add a tiny bit more olive oil. And then dumping in that potato, onion, garlic mixture and letting that saute. While it's sauteing, I'm going to add a little bit more of the mild curry, then a dash of that same organic ground turmeric, and onion powder and garlic powder, pretty much all the same seasonings I used before in the ground meat, except for the 7 spice. I didn't add any of that, but all the other spices. And kind of the same amount, like half a tablespoon. Make sure your potatoes are all coated in that curry. I feel like this is the most important part. You got to stir this up really well. And then once they've been sauteing for a while, I'm going to add in a 6-ounce can of tomato paste, stirring that up, and then adding enough water to basically cover the potatoes. You don't want to see them poking through. Then I'm going to add a cube of chicken bouillon, throwing that in, giving it a really good stir, making sure that tomato paste is all broken up, placing my lid back on, and then turning the heat to about medium high, making sure it boils over. Once it boils over, that's when you can give it a good stir and then turn the heat down to about medium low. I usually just place it on low because I just let this simmer for a really long time while I'm doing everything else. Now is when we add our meatballs back in so that everything kind of cooks slowly together and get the flavors in. So once the meatballs are in, I'm giving it a really good stir, and I'm gonna place the heat, like I said, on low and just let this do its thing. Make sure you add your lid back on, and it's been a while. You can see it thickened up a lot. And this is when I turn the heat all the way down. Now while the curry is on a low, slow simmer, I'm gonna work on my rice, and I'm taking the shortcut route and just throwing it in the rice cooker. But first, washing it. You guys gotta make sure you wash your rice. I keep seeing people on TikTok that are not washing their rice, and the cloudy, gunky water that came out of this was so gross. You gotta wash it. You just have to. But anyways, that's my rant. Now I'm just gonna be adding in some Himalayan salt, just a tiny bit, because my babies are gonna be eating this. Turning it on and forgetting about it. Now the curry is pretty much done at this point. I'm just kind of keeping it warm. I'm going to add in half a lemon and give it a really good stir. And that's what it looks like. It's nice and thick. The potatoes are coated. The meatballs are tender. And here's what it looks like when I served it with that yummy salad. By the way, I was really nervous about the goat cheese and my husband, but he actually didn't mind it. And I forgot to mention earlier, but that was basmati rice that I use. I feel like it's a Middle Eastern staple. You have to use basmati rice whenever you're cooking a Middle Eastern dish. It's chef's kiss. It just completes it. But yeah, guys, here it is. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. And if you do end up making anything from today's video, comment down below. Let me know what you made and how it turned out. Or if you want to tag me on Instagram, that way I can see it. I would love to see what you made and how it turned out. But thank you again for watching. I really do appreciate all the support. And if you haven't done so, please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a like. And as always, I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.